Welcome to Hagenberg. Good afternoon. We're going to be talking about the entire campus today, about the different programs here. And we're also streaming this event so that other people who are currently not in Hagenberg can watch along. Hagenberg is one of 4 campuses of the University of Applied Sciences Upper Austria. And I'll just go through the 4 campuses very quickly. Campus Steyr has a focus on business and management. In theirs, they focus on engineering and applied natural sciences. Linz focuses on medical technology and on social sciences. And in Hagenberg, we're basically focused on computer science, media communication, and design. Hagenberg has been a University of Applied Science since 1993. We started with a program called Software Engineering with 36 students. And every couple of years, we started a new program. It's been referred to as Austrian Silicon Valley, or I like to call it Austrian Silicon Mountain, because Hagenberg, obviously it means mountain. And what makes it very unique, even though it's a very small place, there are only 3,000 inhabitants in Hagenberg, but we have an educational institution, we have research facilities, we have a lot of companies. There are a total of 75 companies that are in town. There are more than 1,400 employees that work in this area, and we have 25 study programs, bachelor and master's, and also the possibility of doing a PhD in cooperation with some of our university partners. Back in the 1990s, when we got started, this is basically what it looked like. So we had one main building, and we had just 2 lecture halls, and you can basically fit it all onto one photo. If we take a look at things today, you need a drone, and even then it's going to be kind of difficult to get everything in the photo. Again, we have about 1,600 students just here in Hagenberg. In total, there are 5,500 at the university in the 4 campuses. There are about 9,000 graduates from this institution in 20 degree programs. And as I mentioned, research is a big part of what we do here. We have over 100 research associates that are working on individual projects. There are 250 part-time lecturers because we like to have people out of the industry, and a total of 70 full-time professors on staff. We have a range of different bachelor study programs. All of them are somehow related to computer science in some way, from very sort of hardcore hardware software design all the way to the design of digital products. We don't actually require anyone to program before they come to this institution. Even though we have this focus on computer science, you can actually learn everything here. We have a lot of expertise in teaching people to deal with more technical topics. I'm going to go through the program departments. So we have our software department, which consists of software engineering, medical, and bioinformatics. Our new program, artificial intelligence solutions, which is also in English, and mobile computing. We have a systems department, including our hardware software design programs, automotive computing, and secure information systems. And then finally, we have our media, communications, and design department with the design of digital products, fairly new, communications and knowledge media, media technology and design, and digital arts. So why would you want to study in Hagenberg, in this tiny little place at the edge of Austria, so to speak? Well, there's a lot of things that sort of combine together. One of them is that you don't necessarily just study here, but you can also work here as well. We have a number of companies that offer not only internships, but also part-time employment right here in Hagenberg. We have a very active student community that participates in events that we organize, like the Hagenberg Game Jam, or that organize their own events on campus. We have fairly modern labs and studios that you can use to work on projects. We have our own startup space for people who'd like to create their own company called Bytewerk. And we're a very inclusive community with a lot of different elements that create a supportive environment. We also try to integrate industry experts into not only teaching, but into regular lectures and conferences that we hold here on campus. Okay, as serious as that all sounds, we don't take ourselves that seriously. I'm going to show you guys a video that was made about not only the university, but also about the software park. And it's also dubbed in English.
Hagenberg in Mühlkreis, a typically Austrian market town community. Typically Austrian. But this idyllic scene has been ruined by know-how, progress, and excessive IQ. To be more precise, by Software Park Hagenberg, otherwise known as the Silicon Valley of the Mühlviertel. This community in Upper Austria is inhabited by around 2,800 locals. The software park, however, has created space for more than 3,000 people.
Wir sind also wie der Vatikan, ein Staat im Staat?
No, of course not. The focus here is supposedly on research, education, and business. It seems as though more than 75 unique business enterprises have settled here. At least 25 excellent university courses are offered to 1,500 keen and creative students. 11 internationally renowned research institutes are also based here. Cool buzzwords like sustainability, synergy, and digitalization have always been important here.
Da Sie mich fragen, ist die künstliche Intelligenz auf allen Gebieten relevant, denn sie verleiht unsere Gesellschaft eine Dynamik.
They say that they can work side by side in cooperation, not competition. If you can believe that. There even seem to be gyms here, because it's not just our brains that are in top shape. It's a place where people work, research, build, teach, learn, and live. Got it? Me neither. Software Park Hagenberg. In the end, it's just a park, right?
And as you can see, we also like our drones very, very much. We do a lot of research with drones too. Okay, one difference between this type of university and a traditional university is that we're very practice-oriented. So while you're here, you'll be working on real-world projects, some of them coming directly from companies. There's the opportunity and actually even the necessity to do an industry internship in the undergraduate program where you actually work in a company for 3 to 4 months. Again, we try to integrate industry experts into our teaching, and we have these labs that are really focused on creating games, creating videos, these types of things, very hands-on oriented education. And the advantage of this is that when you finish here, you have at least 3 or 4 projects that you can actually use for your portfolio to apply for companies, to apply for jobs that you actually want to do. I would say that our education is also very research-driven. All of the professors here are usually involved in some type of research, and they use this type of research to keep their courses up to date. It's also possible to get involved in these projects and to work in these projects and maybe even to start a PhD and to do that while you're studying here. In general, I would say our focus is very based on quality over quantity. So most of our classes are actually pretty small, maybe 12 students to up to 22 students in a class. Maximum is about 24, so that we can guarantee that we have that type of personal support. We also have lots of student tutors that help to make certain that people are keeping up to speed. And we have a lot of additional services like a career center to help you guys find internships and jobs, a fairly modern library, and an international office in case you care to go abroad. In terms of student life, there are a lot of regular activities. There are parties organized by the students. There are events that we have on campus. There are pub quizzes. There are a lot of sport activities. There is the possibility to play music in your own band. And we try to have regular guest lectures, conferences, and competitions on campus. And here's just a couple of snapshots that I did not prepare. I would have included other ones, but snapshots of student bands playing, watching the cinema outdoors, having some Glühwein in the winter, lots of different things that happen here on campus. We also try to provide you a network so that you can find internships and jobs that you would like to do. So we have a startup and a supporting co-working space in case you want to start your own company. We have events like the Career Day so that companies actually come to us and offer you guys jobs, and a lot of other networking events so you can get to know people from the industry. As much as we'd like you to come here and study here, we'd also like you to go away, at least for a little bit. We have a total of 150 partner universities in 50 countries, yeah? And in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th semester, you can go abroad. My personal recommendation, though, is even if you do go abroad as a student, try to do your internship abroad as well, because that's how you really gain international experience. And there are a lot of companies that our students have served as interns in. We have an entire list in pretty much any country you'd want to go to. If you do decide to come here and you're living here, there's a lot of opportunities for you to live here. We have 2 dorms currently where students can actually stay. We have a 3rd one that's going to be built. There are also a lot of apartments that you can share, and also single apartments that you can take on, and other types of private accommodation. If you're interested in studying here, there are a couple of events that you can attend that go into a little bit more detail. The Master's Night is on the 5th of May, and it's online, so you don't even have to be on campus for that. And you can learn about all the different master's programs that we offer. We also have a number of online study talks from the 19th to the 23rd of May. That's towards the end of the application process. We'll be taking some online campus tours. And if you just want to try things out, you can sign up for one day at Hagenberg and follow a student around, shadow them for a day, go to their courses, and talk to all of their fellow students. If you're interested in getting involved in the program in any way, just scan the QR code that we have here up on the screen, and you can find out more information. We have a newsletter you can subscribe to that is primarily in the German language, but you can still get the information, and with ChatGPT these days, you can translate it anyway. I'm going to close this presentation with a video that's going to sound a lot like my voice, because I was the one who did the voicing for it, but it's a lot of really cool shots of students in action. So, action.
The digital future starts here. Welcome to Austria's Silicon Valley, Hagenberg. Informatics, communications, and media. These are the disciplines we have studied, taught, and researched since 1993. More than 1,500 students currently attend one of our 20-plus bachelor's and master's programs. They are inspired by a team of 400 professors, researchers, and guest lecturers from industry and commerce. The surrounding software park Hagenberg features a closely knit collaboration of IT-focused education, research, and business. For many of our students, this means leaving the lecture hall and walking straight to work opportunities in research and industry. Hands-on experience is a key part of our curricula, and not just in our film studio or biolab facilities, but also in real-world projects. And our Bytewerk co-working space is the perfect place for new startup ideas. Students are never just a number here. Your individuality is valued in a community that goes far beyond the classroom. Come and join us. Start shaping your own future here at Hagenberg campus.
Like I said, we like our drone shots. Yeah. Thanks for your attention. If you have any questions afterwards, I'll be up there. There's another presentation following this one. Thanks for coming to Hagenberg. Take a look at all the projects here today. Have a good time, and come join us again. Thank you very much.
No? Good. Passt. Okay. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining this session after the lunch break. My name is Ulrich Bodenhofer, and I will be presenting the Artificial Intelligence Solutions Bachelor's Program to you today. Okay. Greetings also to all who are watching via the live stream. Artificial Intelligence Solutions. That's the name of the program. What is it about? The basic facts are it's a regular bachelor study. It's located exclusively here at the Hagenberg campus, 6 semesters, 180 ECTS credits. It's full-time and face-to-face, so you are supposed to study here and not online. And you might have noticed that from the language that I'm using, it's a program that's fully taught in English, okay? So you don't even need to know any German to enroll for that program. It's a relatively new program. We just started last fall, so this is now the first class that is active, and the second class will start in October this year. So we are currently right in the middle of the admission procedure. So what are the requirements? Well, what is clear is that you need to be generally eligible for higher education in Austria, which of course is automatically fulfilled with an Austrian Matura or an international baccalaureate, and many other high school certificates from around Austria in the European Union. And if you're from a different, especially non-EU country, then it is actually evaluated on a case-to-case basis. You need to be good in English, at least level B2, and you need to prove it. However, if you have an Austrian Matura, then you automatically qualify for B2, and you don't have to provide an extra proof. One thing that is actually important is you need to be comfortable with mathematics. That is one thing that should be made clear from the beginning, because artificial intelligence is largely based on machine learning, and machine learning has a lot of mathematical foundations. And we want to educate good AI engineers, and good engineers need to know what they're doing. So they need to understand what's under the hood of machine learning, okay? Yeah, here you see a few contact details where you can obtain more information about the program. Now let's talk a little bit more about the subject. Yeah? So the name Artificial Intelligence Solutions is not a coincidence. And it's not just a random filler word to make it sound more fancy. We actually mean it, right? By artificial intelligence solutions, we mean that it's not just about the basic technologies or the research background of artificial intelligence. No, you as students are supposed to be able to generate solutions, right? You need to get things to work. You need to get your feet on the ground in the end, right? So the profile that we want to achieve with our students is the profile of an AI engineer who really knows how to prepare all the steps, how to talk to customers, how to understand the task, how to collect data, how to pre-process data, how to manage data, how to train models, how to evaluate models, and how to eventually cast a solution into final software. That's why we also have software engineering, software architectures, project management, databases, and also non-technical subjects like IT law, ethics, and business in our program. So our alums should actually be able to work in a small and medium-sized company to carry out an AI project from the very beginning to the final deployment and maintenance in one single stream without relying on other competencies, okay? That's basically our mission. That's what we want, and that's why we actually aim for a little bit more breadth than depth in machine learning, but that doesn't mean that you will not learn about the basics and the mathematical underpinnings of AI methods and machine learning methods. Okay, so this is for you if you really consider AI an exciting subject, if you enjoy solving practical problems, solving practical tasks, getting things to work. I think that's a very rewarding thing. And you should be good in mathematics and programming, right? Otherwise, you will not have a good time. And that's what we actually prefer to say before rather than after people have enrolled to our program. Okay. Summarizing a little bit what you will learn to understand AI methods and machine learning methods and how to use them and how to choose the right methods for your specific task. Yeah, and you will actually learn to solve tasks either by integrating existing tools or methods or libraries, or also by designing or training custom AI models. If you really start from data and you really try to train a model. So those are basically the two streams. And you will also learn how to implement that into a full-fledged and working solution. Okay? And this is also accompanied by non-technical aspects like, as I already said, ethics, business, and law. Okay? Well, to give you an example, that's a joke example, just for your joy. It's probably not the right season to talk about it, but yeah, it was on the occasion of the Christmas party of this campus in December 2022, when the dean of our faculty had the idea of making a competition. So he gave little trees to all of the departments here on the campus, and the departments decorated the trees, and then there was a competition. So there was a jury on the occasion of the Christmas party, and the cutest or most beautiful or most creative tree was awarded, right? And at the same time, the dean asked me whether I could make something funny with AI. And I thought about it for a while, and then I said, well, yeah, I have an idea. I will contribute one jury member, but which is not actually a human jury member, but an AI jury member, right? Of course, it's a joke. It has no real practical background, but I just want to show it to you because it gives you some sort of an impression about the technologies and the way you address problems. So what I did was the following. I just opened a regular web browser. I went to the Google image search, right, where you just see image by image, and I altogether downloaded about 250 images of Christmas trees. And I split them into two categories, beautiful and ugly, okay? And you probably see some sort of a pattern here that I'm an old white man with obviously a traditional taste, at least when it comes to Christmas trees. You see candles and glass balls and so on, and all these kinds of too colorful things and very strange Christmas trees, for instance, one made out of beer bottles and so on. All of these were classified as ugly by myself. And what I did on the basis of this relatively small data set is actually I trained a neural network, a so-called convolutional neural network. I used a pre-trained model, one that was trained on a large image data set with 1 million images, and I actually just fine-tuned it. Maybe you have heard that term before. I fine-tuned it to classifying Christmas trees into beautiful and ugly, okay? So this is the architecture. It's actually a mobile net v2 architecture, a medium-sized neural network with about 2.26 million weights. And I just fine-tuned the last 1,281 weights to this particular task, and it worked pretty well, right? And on the occasion of the Christmas party, before the party started, I sneaked into the room, I took my mobile, took photos of each tree, then uploaded the photos to the Google Drive, and then ran my model and ranked the trees according to the probabilities that the neural network considered them beautiful. Because whenever I take this network that I had trained to my 250 trees, when you new tree image, then it gives you a probability that it's beautiful, and 100 minus that probability is the probability that it's ugly, right? So I contributed a joke jury member. What do we learn from that? First of all, we learn from that it's comparably easy to adapt pre-existing models to totally new subjects. And that's probably one thing you will also learn at our curriculum, right? One more thing that you learn is that AI doesn't have, or AI systems don't have a taste or an opinion by themselves. What the network does is just it tries to reproduce the taste that I had, in a way, imposed by my classification, right? So it just reproduces my taste. And it's often so that people say, oh, AI methods, the technology is bad, it's dangerous, and so on. No, it's not. It's just a technology. It doesn't have a free will, a will of its own. It doesn't have a taste or an opinion of its own. It just sort of reproduces what is in the data. And this is one thing that we also learned from that example. Okay, finally, to come to an end here, I can tell you that one of these trees here won. I don't remember precisely which one. I can tell you which tree lost, namely the one over here. That's the probably most creative tree. They put clothes on the tree. And it was classified in my system to be beautiful to a probability of 0.0004, right? And not because it was so ugly, but just it doesn't conform to the taste that is reflected in my labeling. Okay, as I said, this is a joke example. Of course, the study itself is not a joke, right? So let's talk about a more serious thing. Let me have a quick look at the time. Because this is a subject I can talk about for hours, if you let me. Yeah, but the guys don't let me. I only have 20 minutes to complete my talk, so I will try to keep it short. It's a serious example from medicine, from healthcare. So you probably know how a heart works, at least roughly, right? It's a double pump with 4 chambers and 4 valves. And you probably know from pumping up a bicycle tire that a pump only works nicely if the valves work nicely, right? Valves are essential for pumps. And the same is true for the heart, right? So if one heart is malfunctioning, then the pumping volume is not good. So you don't supply the body sufficiently well with oxygen, and people with that condition don't have good quality of life, and they cannot walk any stairs, and so on. And it's a really severe condition that eventually leads to death after several months. And the good thing, there is a cure, right? You can replace a malfunctioning heart valve by an artificial graft. Okay, that sounds like good news. However, you know, we need the heart all the time, right? The heart needs to pump all the time, because otherwise you die after, I don't know, 1 minute or so. So how is it possible to replace the heart valve while you need your heart? Well, actually, it's a very serious thing. The chest is opened. It's an open chest surgery, and you actually silence the heart, and a machine, the so-called heart-lung machine, for a limited period of time takes over the duties of heart and lung, right? So you put big tubes into main arteries and veins, right? And then you can, well, the heart is just like a balloon without air. And while it is like that, you can cut it open and replace the heart valve. And eventually, if that works out, then you pull out the tubes and you give an electric shock to the heart, and you close the chest, and after 12 hours, the whole procedure is finished. And it's a very severe intervention, as you can imagine. It's complicated, it's dangerous. What would you estimate? What is the overall mortality after this intervention within the first 30 days after surgery? I have heard any number between 1% and 80%. I can tell you, if it were 80%, nobody would ever decide in favor of that intervention. No, the answer is a little bit below 4%, okay? That's pretty cool, right? It's a very severe surgery, and you have a more than 96% probability to survive it and have a good life afterwards. That's a really good thing. Otherwise, or on the other hand, you have 1 to 25 odds to die, right? So that's a serious issue. Next question. Do you think that everybody, any person with that condition, has an exactly 4% probability to die? No, it's very unlikely, right? No, it is so that it very much depends on your age, on your medical history, on your medication, on how well, where you're overweight or underweight or whatever, age, gender, many, many factors, right? And what we did here was we took data from all of the heart valve surgeries in Kepler University Clinic from 2008 to 2014 included, which are altogether 2,229 cases. So that's roughly one such intervention per working day, which is quite some number. And for all of these 2,229 cases, we had every measurement and every record about the patient that is known before the surgery, right? All the blood tests and all the medication and age and gender and weight and height and whatever you may think of, okay? Plus, we knew the outcome. For each of the patients, we knew whether they died within the first 30 days after surgery or not, okay? So we trained a machine learning model that tries to predict the outcome, whether the person lives or dies, from all the data about the patient that is known before the surgery. And interestingly, that worked amazingly well. It was not so that you could precisely tell you will die and you will live. That's not how it worked. However, we obtained a probability for the person to die, and that probability was more indicative and ranked the surviving ones or separated the surviving and the non-surviving ones in a way that is actually better than any accepted risk score in European cardiac surgery, right? And moreover, we could even identify the main factors influencing survival, right? And it turned out, for instance, what was not known from medical literature, that kidney parameters are essential, right? GFR is the glomerular filtration rate. It's a complicated kidney function parameter, and creatinine is also a protein that is produced in the kidneys and so on. And I will not go into the details, but the farther the blue and the green curve are apart, the better the separation between high and low risk patients. So for instance, the ones that our system considered high risk, right, were actually died with a rate of about 28% in the first 30 days instead of only 4%, right? So that's actually quite an amazing result. And this is one serious thing where really a custom model, a new machine learning model has been trained for a new task in a way that is really, really useful for humanity. And there is so much clinical data that's collected every day in hospitals, mainly for the purpose of documentation, but those are real treasure chests. With machine learning, you can find even new medical knowledge. And if you think that you can ask ChatGPT for such things, which would be much easier, I can tell you, well, ChatGPT can analyze medical literature, but it will not be able to find things that are hidden in the data and not contained in medical literature yet. So that's one important thing, that ChatGPT doesn't solve everything, it just reproduces things that are already known, right? But it will never, ever come up with new knowledge. That's for sure. Okay. These two examples, the Christmas tree example and the heart valve example, are examples of projects where new things have been developed from scratch. Another stream that could be interesting and will also be taught in our program is the integration of existing AI tools. For instance, there's a library called YOLO for object detection from images. This is one thing that you can integrate quite easily into computer vision applications, and you can even fine-tune it to new classes and so on. Or there are systems, in this case from Microsoft Azure, that read the main entities from receipts and bring them into a structured machine-readable form. That's also very useful for business applications, or of course there are language models, not necessarily chatbots, but language models that you can also integrate into your own business application. And these are all things that our students also learn about, apart from training their own models. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the curriculum. Here you see an overview of the, or no, it's not an overview, it's actually a very detailed presentation of the curriculum. So you see in the first semester we have a lot of foundations. They are necessary. There's no way around it, right? But the green parts are the machine learning methods. So you see this is really of central importance. We also have domain-specific things like time series analysis, computer vision, natural language processing, and in the sixth semester even really domain-specific requirements in industry, in healthcare, in business and finance, and so on. Yeah? What is actually quite a large block is the gray block here. It's about 25% of the curriculum is pure practice. And I'm not talking about exercises accompanying lectures. This is in all of the other modules. No, this is real practice where you really work on tasks that have not been solved before. In the study project in the fourth semester, students work in small teams to solve unsolved new tasks from industry, right? And almost the entire fifth semester is an internship where you will have to work for a company on an AI-related subject. And in the end, in the sixth semester, you have to write your bachelor thesis. That means you have to apply all your knowledge in a practical setting and write about it and speak about it, okay? And here you see the overall overview. So you see AI methods are about 21%. Real practice is even more than that, 25%, and anything else is dispersed over multiple subjects that are important, like foundations, but also non-technical subjects, which I guess is the this light gray thing here. Okay, well, finally, once again, a summary of the entire the basic facts. Face-to-face, 180 ECTS, fully taught in English. Next intake this fall. Yeah. Application procedures are currently in progress. Application deadline, by the way, is the end of May. But if you're interested, or if you actually already decided that you want to apply, please apply as soon as possible, because there is a lot of interest, and the earlier you apply, the better it is probably. And if you haven't finished school yet, it doesn't matter. You just mention it that you will bring your certificates later. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So that was basically all from my side. I just want to thank you for your attention and your interest. And if you have any specific questions, I don't know, maybe we have a couple of minutes to answer them here. Otherwise, you will find me until 5 p.m. in room PLB2, that's on level 3 of that building. And you can personally talk to me or to my students if you have any further questions. Otherwise, thank you very much. And yeah, have a nice day. Have fun here in Hagenberg. I hope you find this day insightful. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Any questions? Okay, if not, also fine. Otherwise, I told you where you can find me. Okay? Yes? Sure?
Which companies you get a microphone? This is for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Which companies you are planning to schedule this
internship? Yeah. Okay, so we actually already have a network of companies. Our whole university has a long tradition in cooperating with industry, and we have a huge network. And also, this study program has a huge network. So we have contact with about 50 companies in Austria and Germany, and we will try to extend that network also beyond that scope, right? So here in Linz, you might think of Dynatrace, for instance, voestalpine, Count IT, here in Hagenberg, whatever. Right? I could name Primetals. I could name many companies, software companies, companies from industry, metal, plastics, chemical industry. We have a lot of industry here in Upper Austria, and we will. Actually, as I told you, we will also strive for extending the network on a more global scale. that doesn't mean that you're always limited to the companies that we have on the list, right? So if whoever of you has an idea, well, there is a nice company, maybe not a very known one, not a very big one, but they would be interested in hiring me as an intern, right? It's also possible. You can, if you search for your own job, your own company, or a company that is maybe not on the list, you can easily do that, right? It's just there is a formal procedure. We need to check that what you do during your internship actually helps your own experience in artificial intelligence solutions, right? So you should not be hired for making coffee or cleaning toilets. That's not what it's meant to be. So you need to get a signature from the company representative, and you need to write an abstract of what the internship is about. And then if it's approved from our side, it will be checked by a commission. If it's approved from our side, then you can go and do your internship at a different company, and maybe we can include the company, if it's successful, include the company in our network as well. Yeah. So you have pretty much freedom in that respect. Okay. Any other questions? Well, if not, thank you again. Have a nice day, and you will find me in PLB2 upstairs.
Test, hallo? Ja, okay.